And raised right here in Northeast Portland. I live in North Portland right now. So I'm really excited to welcome y'all to this space, to New Song. We have an interactive workshop designed for y'all this evening. We're going to kick off the first part of this workshop with just sharing some information about this really exciting new housing development called Carey Blvd, which is being developed by Habitat for Humanity Portland region. And we're going to share a little bit more about that home ownership opportunity, as well as an interactive section later after y'all are finished eating. We're going to invite you to look at some design vignettes that we have spread across the room back there so that we can get y'all's input on ways that Carey Blvd can be responsive to y'all's needs in terms of home ownership and amenities. So we'll do a little bit of light education at the top, and then we'll switch gears and we'll invite you to be a little bit more interactive and work through some design workshop questions, okay? All right, but before we get there, I want to introduce y'all to some really important folks. So first and foremost, we have the folks from Habitat for Humanity. We've got Ian here, we've got Erin. Erin, where are you? She's waving back there. They are the folks that are developing Carey Blvd. We also have folks that y'all are probably familiar with, folks from the Portland Housing Bureau. So we've got Leslie. Leslie, where are you? Raise your hand. Leslie back there from the Portland Housing Bureau. They are the government agency that is handling applications and verifying points for the preference policy. If you haven't heard of the preference policy, if you're unsure of what that is, we'll talk about that a little bit later, and PHB can answer questions that you may have about that policy. It's an exciting policy. It's designed to make sure that we get folks that historically have been born, raised, and have family in North and Northeast Portland back to our communities that may have been displaced due to gentrification. So it's a very important policy. We also have Christy Gifford here from the Portland Housing Center. Christy, can you raise your hand? They're the nonprofit organization that is helping folks become home buyer ready, so they're going to be a part of the preference policy process. And so if you have questions, regardless of your journey to home ownership, if you're just starting out or you've gotten stuck along the way, you need some resources, you need some education, the Portland Housing Center is a great one-stop shop to get those needs met. And have I missed anyone from the project team? We've got NWA here, which is they are the architects that are responsible for designing Carey Blvd. So we've got Kara and Bill here. And any other project team members that are here? Okay, I think I've covered everybody. So again, welcome. If you're just joining us and you're just walking in, welcome. We're just getting started. And we're going to go ahead and kick off today with a little bit of education about Carey Blvd. So what is Carey Blvd? It is a new housing development project in North Portland and St. John specifically. There are townhomes being built that are designed for preference policy folks. So it's exciting new homeownership opportunity, and it's a joint venture between Habitat, which is the developer, the Portland Housing Bureau, which is a part of the city of Portland, and NWA architects who are designing the space. And so they've come together to create this really great opportunity, and PHC is going to help shepherd that process in terms of getting folks into those townhomes, okay? So anyone here take the community design survey? Did you receive a survey from PHB about this project? You did? Anyone else? Okay. So some of y'all are familiar, that's great. So we're gonna be kind of expanding on some of those questions. Some of those questions might be familiar, but today's an opportunity, if you took that survey, to tell us a little bit more about the answers that you provided in that survey so we can learn more about your preferences for thinking about how to design a townhome, both inside and out, okay? And with that, I'm gonna turn it over to the architects to talk a little bit more about Carey and share more about the project.
Great, thanks. I'll get us started off. And can we get the next slide? Great. So first, just a quick review of what Camille just said. But first half is going to be sharing design, kind of timeline and progress about the project. And then the second half, you'll get up, walk around. We'll be back there to answer your questions about the 4 stations where you can be voting on some design details. And then if you fill out that comment card and turn it in at the end of the day on your way out the door, there's a $30 gift card for you. Next slide. And then after the event, we're going to take in all the findings that we got from the survey that Camille mentioned, as well as all those comment cards, put all the data together. We're going to review it and figure out how to incorporate that information into our design to try to make this space as exciting for the prospective home buyers, y'all, basically, as possible. And then we'll report back out what we learned and how we use that information. So I'm going to go over the design timeline. That's the next slide. So Habitat and Portland Housing Bureau came to an agreement on this piece of land back in spring 2023. Habitat has been working on the design since then with some initial site studies, working on concepts, some early assistance meetings with the city. Basically, like the first year I describe it as we were trying to figure out what can we even do here? Like what are the constraints? What are we allowed to do? We learned some really big things like the Bureau of Transportation needed us to put a road through the middle of the site. Urban forestry, had some very specific requirements around tree preservation. So we kind of had to figure out what are the boundaries that we're playing with, and now how can we try to put the homes that we love to build on this site. 2024 has been more about finding out what does the community want to do here within those constraints. So in the spring, we had the survey that Camille mentioned. Here we are in the summer, we're having this engagement event, and then in the fall, we plan to finalize the design and go in for permits. And then that process is about 6 to 9 months for the city to review the plans and really make sure that we're meeting building code, that's gonna be a safe and good quality place to live. 2025 summer is when Habitat gets the land from Portland Housing Bureau. We're gonna set to work on excavation and all the utilities and everything. It's a pretty big site, it's about 3 acres, so there's gonna be a lot of work involved. It'll probably take us about a year just to get the site ready to even start building homes on. 2026, we'll start building homes, and then 2028 to 2029 is when we're gonna be selling the homes. So we're still a few years out here. We're in the early phases of design. I'm really psyched that y'all are here to express your interest and help us make this design one that people are really invested in. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Kara and Bill to talk a little bit more about the neighborhood, about the site plan that we've come up with so far, some of the values that have guided that decision based on things we've heard from the community on past projects, and then the 4 areas where y'all can offer input.
Next slide, please. First off, I'm Bill Lanning with MWA Architects. Thank you all for coming out tonight. We're excited to talk with you about the development so far and what the plans are for the housing. As Ian said, the site and the property we're looking at is in North Portland. It is just south of Lombard, but it is within more of a residential neighborhood. And so north is Lombard, to the west is the Union Pacific train line, which is way down in height from where the property is. And then it's then close to some of the other services along Lombard, and across the way is Fred Meyer's. The map that's up right now is a little bit hard to see maybe. So everyone knows that same information is at a table in the back if you want to get a closer look. But it shows kind of where the immediate site and property is. Then also there's a couple dashed lines representing kind of what's within a 5-minute walk of the homes if you were to live there, or within a 10-minute walk. And then also some other services that are within 15 minutes or so. Right now the property is, for the most part, it was a vacant land, undeveloped. Safe Rest Village was currently developed there in the interim before Habitat's able to start their project. And so we've been able to go out and really survey and take a look at the property and look at where the trees are and what some of the amenities could be. Next slide, please. As Ian talked, we're looking at development of 50 homes. A lot of those will be a townhome design, which means they'll be 2-story with a ground floor and an upper floor. There are 2 homes that are reserved for just 1 story for accessibility for people who may have problems or less mobility range. Working with the city and balancing the goals of the project, what Habitat's goals were for the number of homes that could be developed there, along with Portland Housing Bureau's goals on the project, and then overlaying that with the city's. What you see up on the screen is kind of where we are currently with the design in order to provide the 50 homes that we're hoping for. As Ian mentioned, there is a road that has to be developed that's not there right now. If you were to go out to the property, there is no road through the middle, but on the screen above, you can see it kind of goes from left to right and does divide the current property into two different areas, a smaller area to the east and then the larger property to the west. And as I had mentioned, and Carey is going to talk a little bit more about, because it is really in a neighborhood, more of a single-family neighborhood environment, we were looking at kind of how to lay out the homes in a way that helped reinforce and blend into that neighborhood.
Actually, I'll just chime in real quick with a couple things about the site plan. One of the things that we were really excited about here is code does not require us to put parking spaces in anymore, which may feel a little crazy to hear because everybody has a car or maybe even two cars. And so we knew when we were doing this design, we needed to make sure everybody had at least one parking space that is going to be assigned to you. It's yours. Only you can park there. So we've got that. We've also got on the new road there, North Minerva Avenue, extra overflow parking. So that was one priority we heard from past Portland Housing Bureau projects. And we heard that and we're like, we need to incorporate that. Also like a mixture of common area and private space. You'll see that kind of here too. We're trying to balance having enough units and serve as many people as possible, but still keep it livable and like a good quality of life. So over to you, Kara.
Hello, I'm Kara Mitchell with MWI Architects. Can we go to the next slide, please? All right, so this drawing shows the 4 different neighborhoods that we've created as a part of our goal for this design. So each neighborhood, the goal is to locate them around a centralized semi-public community space. So it might be hard to read, but the top left corner is the Heritage Park, which surrounds the large heritage tree right there. That's about like 115-foot redwood, I think. And then the middle lot neighborhood, that is going to be probably a playground or whatever you guys want it to be. We have one of the questions out there is regarding that public space. And then the green lot, North Oberlin, that is a little bit smaller, but we could probably fit like picnic stuff there or barbecue or whatever you guys want. And then East Minerva, unfortunately, doesn't have as much green space, but each lot there, or each house there has a parking spot, and it's easily accessible to the open spaces. Oh yeah, and each house has its own private backyard and private front patio, which you can vote on the design for out there as well. Next slide, please. So for the design of each individual home, right here we're showing the typical 4-plex townhome, 2-plex townhome, and the single-family home. We did a lot of research of the neighborhood before we started designing so we could see like the context of what we're building in. So a lot of these homes around this development are like a simplified American farmhouse style, so we wanted to honor that by creating these nice steep gable roofs and really durable materials. And then we're also considering having the front door be an accent color by neighborhood cluster. So you have like an identifiable color for each neighborhood. And then also each unit will have air conditioning in the bedrooms, the living rooms, dishwasher, laundry room, 2 bedrooms per bathroom, and exterior storage.
Next slide, please. So the next slides, there are 4 of them, and they're really what is represented on the boards back by where you entered into the room. And what we want to do after we've kind of talked a little bit here is to have you engage with us at each of those stations, kind of break into smaller groups and talk through. Each board kind of has a question and some ideas or information that we'd love feedback on as we continue to develop the design and the homes. So one of the boards has to do with, and questions, like Kara said, the outdoor amenities. So the activities that will be in the community that everyone can take advantage of when they're living there. Next slide, please.
I'm just going to chime in real quick, but Aaron just let me know that we do have a Spanish interpreter and Somali interpreter in the back. So if you need that service, they're back there.
This slide is talking a bit about the entry into your home, and sort of the level of privacy that may be desired in terms of really public and open versus more private and closed. And then also getting an idea and feedback on what people like to do with their front doors, not just the door, but that area outside, directly outside your home, how you meet with neighbors, how you relax, how how the kids use it, things like that as well. Next slide, please. This slide has to do with just kind of colors are very personal to people, but we are looking at kind of understanding what tones of colors people would be interested as we create, as Kara said, kind of these 4 communities. So are they more earth tone? Are they brighter? That sort of thing. I think the slide when we get over to there will help explain that a little bit more. And then the last question is about art within the development and where we see opportunities to provide art and some beauty to the property. And that's, around certain, again, outdoor areas. And we really like some feedback on that as well as we move forward. Next slide, please.
Okay. Architects, remind me, how many bedroom, bathroom combinations are we talking for Carey Boulevard? Walk us through that again.
All right. Yeah, that one. So there are 50 total homes. There's going to be 17 2-bedroom units, 21 3-bedroom units, and 12 4-bedroom units. And then that makes 18 total buildings on both sites.
And for those 2, 3, and 4 bedrooms, how many bathrooms would be in those combinations of bedrooms?
So it's 2 bedrooms for each bathroom. So the 4 bedrooms will have 2 bathrooms, and I believe the 3-bedroom has 1.5 bathrooms, and the 2-bedroom has 1 bathroom.
Okay, great.
Actually, sorry, slight correction. Yeah. Because of the townhome design, the 2 bedrooms, there is a half bath at the ground floor and then a full bath at the second floor where the bedrooms are. And that's similar at the 3-bedroom. There's a half bath at the ground floor. The only exception to that is I talked about the single level homes, those 2. One is a 2-bedroom single level, and that just has 1 bathroom.
Okay.
The other is a 4-bedroom home, and it has 2 full bathrooms.
Cool. Thanks, y'all. Thank you. All right. Questions about Carey Boulevard? Any questions from folks? Yes, with you with the beautiful sunglasses, girl. I see you sparkling back there. Great question. Yes, her question was, do we know the square footage for the townhomes yet?
And our answer is yes, but we don't actually have that information right now with us. So we can follow up. I think there will be the opportunity to follow up with people to give you that answer.
Yeah, we're in the very beginning stages, y'all, so it's a great opportunity to share perspectives about square footage and what preferences you have.
I will say, I think, and if you chat with Aaron a little bit afterwards, just about habitat homes in general, our typical range is around 1,000 to about 15 or 1,600 square feet, depending on the number of bedrooms. So that 2-bedroom is going to be the smaller one, and then the 4 bedrooms would be closer to the 1,600 square foot range.
Yes. With the hat, you had your hand up for a second. Did you have a question? Oh, behind you.
I've got a mic.
Great. Thank you, Leslie.
What are you calling on?
With the hat, with the black hat.
With the square footage, you're not having that available. Would that be the same answer for the lot size?
Say it one more time.
Size of the lots?
The size of the lots. Do we have any information about the size of the lots for the townhomes? If you think about a typical R5, is it R2.5?
Well, this is a little bit different in that each home is not on a separate lot. So it's not separated by property lines. Ian, I don't know if you want to speak to that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I'll get into that one. Great question. This community will be a condominium. Without getting into too much detail about what that means, it means there's a kind of a combination of private space and public space. So each of the fenced-in backyards is private space that belongs to the homeowner. But then front yards, those common areas where maybe a playground or a community garden or something, those are shared, maintained by the community, and all the homeowners are basically paying into a fund to help maintain the property. So when you ask about the actual lot, I'm taking that to mean the unit plus maybe that backyard. And the backyard is probably for a 4-bedroom, a couple hundred square feet. For a 2-bedroom, it's going to be a little smaller. But it's hard for me to give you an exact lot size. Hope that helped a little bit.
Yes, with the black shirt and glasses right here. Yep. Oh yeah. Pink shirt works too.
I was just wondering, was there any standalone, full houses by itself? And if so, how many, and what are the bedroom size?
Yeah, there are 2 full single homes. One is a 2-bedroom and one is a 4-bedroom. And again, those are all just 1 level instead of 2 levels.
And how many bedrooms do those ones have?
Yeah, one has 2 bedrooms and one has 4 bedrooms.
Perfect. Okay. Yep, with the black shirt on.
I saw something on the slide that mentioned solar, and I wanted to know with the rising energy cost and utility rates, going so high, what is the plan for solar? And it looked like it said option. So I was just curious, what about solar, and are there any other measures you put in place to lessen the energy burden on homeowners?
Well, I can speak to the solar. So we have the roof design is already going to be set so that you can have the extra weight of solar panels on the roof. And then I think every unit has the potential for those. And then also the electrical panel inside the home will be already ready for a solar panel. So.
Yeah, basically, building code requires that nowadays. All new construction has to have room on the roof, and then room in the electrical panel, and then also a little bit of conduit, some other stuff to make sure it's ready for solar. Habitat would love to put solar on homes, but it does still cost a pretty good chunk of money to do it, even with all the incentives. And we're looking for more grant money to see if we can on future projects, but currently we're not putting it on the homes ourselves. But the home will be completely ready. So in the future, if you wanted to do that on your home, you could. You also asked about energy efficiency in the homes. All of these homes will be Earth Advantage Platinum certified. Earth Advantage is a local, kind of regional green building certifier. A lot of people have heard of LEED, for example. Kind of similar idea. They come, inspect our homes, and make sure that we're sealing them really tightly, using really energy efficient appliances, really good windows, so we can keep those energy bills down.
That next generation is already. That's a good one. I
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because we're trying to figure this out now too. Obviously, with all of our communities, as you see here, there's parking lots, right? So you might be parking in a spot that's not like directly adjacent to your home. So we're kind of trying to figure out what's the best practice there. What we're doing on some of our communities currently is leaving some underground conduit and boxes basically where wiring could be run in the future. The thing is, we're still not really sure how many people have electric vehicles. In a lot of our communities so far, it's not very many people. I'm glad you asked that question because it's something that all the civil engineers and architects are kind of trying to figure out how to do right for this style of community right now.
So if you have recommendations, you should talk to us about it. Okay. And also your question about energy efficiency, if you're interested in learning about Energy Trust's incentive program, I can tell you more about that. They're a client of mine and they're trying to make sure that they can reduce people's energy bills. Okay. We'll take a few more questions and then we're going to transition to the more interactive part of our workshop. Okay.
Okay, I was just wondering about the new public road and how you guys came up with the name for that one.
Actually, well, the name was already given by the city. It's just it was an undeveloped right-of-way or roadway that had already been, platted with the property lines for the public right-of-way versus the property. And that street currently is called Minerva. The city has named it, or it's named Minerva. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But relatedly, if you have thoughts about what we should be naming Carey Boulevard, we have questions about that. So keep that in mind. Okay, we'll take 2 more questions.
Are you guys able to accommodate more than just the 2 accessible houses that you guys have?
And maybe that in the back. With the sunglasses, yes.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just wondering what environmental factors were considered because it looks like it's sandwiched between the railroad and Lombard.
Mm-hmm.
And you have Columbia not too far down as well. So those are like major thoroughways for trucks and other industrial. So were any of this considered as well? Because if history shows when new developments are put in place, they're often sandwiched in areas where it's not as environmentally sensitive as well.
Mm-hmm. Great question.
So they're part of the due diligence and the research that Habitat had to do was have a phase 1 environmental report done that looked at the property where we're developing the housing along with the other environmental factors around the area to identify if there were any known hazards there. It also takes into account some of the sound and noise, potential challenges, and those things. There is some advantages, even though it is pretty busy around there with the railroad and Lombard, because the railroad is so much lower in height than the property. That noise is really buffered by the hillside. And then Lombard didn't provide, in terms of noise or air quality, was not a hindrance either.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's anybody else that has not asked a question, before I give somebody an opportunity to do another question, I know.
And this will be the last one.
Yeah, so this will be the last question. Anybody? Okay.
How close are we to that water treatment that smells? That water treatment plant out there? I drove through there. How close are we to that? It's some kind of water treatment. Yeah, that's what I'm like. How close are we to that? Yeah, no.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one on the map, but I've been out there and you can't smell it. It's not anywhere near there. So, but you on the site? Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I know. I know what you mean. Yeah, I don't think you can't smell it on the site.
Okay, y'all. So now is the time where y'all are gonna get up because I know that food is kicking in. A little bit of itis, and we want to keep y'all active. So we're gonna go ahead and stand up. There are vignettes behind you, poster boards behind you. So take a look. What you need in your hand right now is this comment card. So if you don't have a comment card, I want you to go back out to the front desk and grab a comment card. We're gonna have you stop by each one of these vignettes, each one of these stations, and on your comment card are design questions that are related to each of those vignette stations. And you're just gonna check the box based on what you prefer, based on those questions. So just answer candidly what you prefer in terms of station 1 is about site amenities, station 2 is about porch design, station 3 is color palettes for Carey Boulevard, and station 4 is site art. So we just want to hear your feedback. Once you're done stopping by each station and you filled out your comment card completely, I want to make sure that you flip over to the back of the comment card and fill out demographic information. That's really important for Habitat. There's also a really important question about the building name. So if there's a community member or another name for the project that you would recommend, Carey Boulevard is likely not going to be the permanent name, so if you have recommendation, write it on the comment card. Before you leave tonight, turn your comment card in so you can get your $30 gift card for being here tonight, okay? No comment card, no gift card, all right? Everybody understand the assignment? Okay. If you have questions about Carey Boulevard, about the process, about anything discussed, there are team members all around waiting to talk to you, so don't hesitate, don't be afraid, don't be shy, ask away, okay? Thank you all so much. You can go forth and hit your stations. Oh, yeah, there are. And just a note, PHB is taking photographs, so if you don't want to be in a photo op, if you don't want to get your glam on tonight, let us know. Otherwise, Gwen over there is going to be taking some photos to document tonight. Thanks, y'all. folks, just a reminder, before you leave, we need those comment cards. And if you have questions, there's team members that are sprinkled throughout here that you can get your questions answered. And if you want more information about the project, there's a QR code here so you can learn more about the project online, okay? Make sure you turn in those comment cards and feel free to reach out to us with any questions. Thank you all so much for being here.